Hi, everybody, and welcome to Be Blue to Ourselves, the official Tominator Pictures Be Blue to Yourself web series commentary. I am one of your hosts today, Thomas.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Nate.
And we collectively make up the Nate, or Amber's name. Just take the letters out, move them around how you need.
It's Barbie and Ken.
It's Tom and Nate and Amber.
I'm just Beach.
But we are Tominator Pictures, and we made this super fun web series called Be Blue to Yourself, based on the little known and said about blue wizards from Middle Earth mythology. If you guys are privy to Lord of the Rings and such, I don't know why I'm reintroducing the show. This is 4th episode, so I figure if you guys have already gone this far, you know what exactly I'm talking about. So, sure.
But hey, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if you're new, welcome. I hope you understand what's going on, because this probably doesn't make any damn sense. Especially this episode, because this is episode 4. The Boot Bandit Blues. That's what the name of this one is called. And this is I play Romestamo in the show. Nate, you play Marina Tar. And this is Romestamo's sort of solo come to Iluvatar moment episode that is the one episode that we filmed not in Seattle. if you can tell, it's really hard to tell. But yeah. So I guess before we jump into it, I would love to know, Nate, what do you think of this one? Because you get to be completely absent from it. And I know this was also sort of so this is the first thing we filmed for the show. And it was partially like a little like, can we really make this work kind of thing? And so we filmed it, and there was like a really rough cut I put together using music that would have completely gotten this video taken down. Go check out our episode 1 of these commentaries if you want a taste of that. But maybe I'll just like put something else in here just to show you exactly how much I pilfered from other like movies and things. But yeah, Nate, what you've seen this? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole desert adventure here?
I mean, obviously, it's like not as good as the rest of the series because I'm not in there, but like, I think
absolutely,
you did, like, the best that you could given the circumstances.
It's at least 33.3 repeating % not as good.
I think though, like you said, it was sort of the proof of concept for this whole project. I think like if that hadn't turned out, we probably wouldn't have made anything else. So like,
yeah.
You know, it was very important as an episode.
It kind of scared me a little bit because now that I'm thinking back on it, like editing this together, there was so much where it's like when we'll get to it obviously, but when I like hold out my hands and like introduce myself or whatever, and like all the magic and the sky darkens and all this shit, all I could think was like, boy, I really hope that it's not too hard to learn how to do that, because I had the most I had done ever was the portals and the laser beams in Weird 2, and that was like really not that hard. But like tracking it to my hands and all this other stuff, I was just like, if I can't figure out how to do this efficiently, like the show won't work. Like so much of this is like random little magic moments, and I'm like, I don't want it to look like shit. But yeah, so that was actually the scary part for me. But Amber, you were there too. What you, before we jump into it, like filming this one, how do you looking back on it, especially as like we did film it before we did everything else, like how does that kind of compare experientially for you?
Well, it was definitely like a different climate.
Yeah.
So very hot. And yeah, just navigating the sand, which I could go on about sand, but not going to do that here.
Do you don't mean that it's like, rough and coarse and
And it
Sometimes
gets everywhere.
Oh. But yeah, otherwise I think it was good to get prior experience with like the camera work and stuff like that before moving on to the rest of the episodes. And yeah, just getting a sense of also like memorizing lines and like saying them in front of a camera.
Yeah. I don't know if Nate, I don't know if we told you that, because this was filmed in Arches National Park in Utah. And for those of you that have never been there, you could hike it if you're a very active person or a sadist. Normal people drive. So what we were doing was like, we did want to see it. So we were driving through and like we'd stop and look around. And if we saw a spot that was like, oh, we could film something there, we'd go over and shoot and then hop back in. So look at some of the videos from behind the scenes, but I look like a fucking weirdo because I'm walking around in a wizard costume, or like half of it because I didn't have the robe yet. And so I'm just like standing around like reading. There's like a video I think of me like reading a sign because I was genuinely interested in whatever the sign said. But I'm like in this blue getup and it's just me going like, oh, look at that. Like, oh, this is there.
No, but yeah, it was definitely like a different, I guess, area to film in. And so comparing that to Seattle now, like it'll be pretty cool to actually see, like go through this again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think without further ado, you guys want to get started on the episode?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it to it. This is episode 4 of Be Blue to Yourself, the Boot Bandit Blues. That Dune knockoff music.
Lamentation music.
I think that's actually what it's called. Or no, there's another song in the show called Lamentation. I think this was called something like Desert Planet or something really bluntly like ripping that off.
Shit. This is such a cinematic location.
Oh my god, I know. Also, kudos to you, Amber, like for getting that landscape shot. Like, this is just smooth. That was smooth.
Oh, your curls are really working it.
Okay, so this is something I might have said it in an earlier episode, but at this point in time, my hair was very long, and it kept getting tangled, and so I specifically didn't cut my hair and I didn't shave my beard for this because I was like, well, I need to make sure there's enough beard and I got to have that Gandalfian kind of hair. And then after this, my thought was, okay, I can shave now and I can kind of trim my hair a little bit because this was like October and we weren't going to film till January. So I was like, that's plenty of time. My hair will go back. And so I shaved. That's no problem. But like, I like trim my own hair a little bit because it's mostly just tied up. And so I took it and I trimmed it. And for the first time in my life, I accidentally trimmed a little too lopsided wise. And I was like, oh shit. And so like I was trying to like even it and I got it even, but it was like a lot shorter. Like this weird, like I look like some medieval fucking bellboy thing or something. And I was just like, oh fuck. So it didn't quite grow out as much as it needed to. by the time we got back to Seattle, or when we got to Seattle, I should say. But I think the funny part, at least to me, is that it makes it look like I've been wandering the desert for like months.
Yeah.
Like I've been walking around so long, I have a long beard and the hair's all grown out. And then of course immediately in episode 6, it's like, oh no, it's fine.
Hand over your gold.
I haven't got any gold.
What do you mean you ain't got no gold? What traveler doesn't have any gold?
Well, I mean, I guess me.
Who even are you?
I am Romestamo.
Imitation music.
Yeah.
Blue what?
I'm so proud of those clouds.
Blue wizard.
Thank God for Utah having like orange landscape and blue skies. That was the easiest thing to key out.
What kind of wizard are you?
What do you mean?
You ain't got no staff.
Well, you don't need a staff to be a wizard. It doesn't take a staff to be a wizard.
And you ain't got no hat.
Oh, please. Like, Solomon the White doesn't have a hat.
Yeah, look at.
I wish we did more with the
He's
hat
stuck in the tower
hood
with a bunch of
debate.
murderous trees.
I don't think not having a hat had anything to do with trees attacking Isengard. I mean, the hat thing is you don't need a hat to be a wizard.
I mean, you ain't got no hat. He ain't got no hat. You both are like the saddest folks in Middle Earth right now.
I guess you're right.
Hey man, it's not that big of a deal. I was just gonna take some of your stuff. I wasn't gonna kill you or nothing.
It's not that. It's not that.
You can tell I already sat on the rock.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta say another thing. So one of my favorite parts about this that worked out so brilliantly is when Amber and I shot this, like there was no one else working the camera, right? So like we would have to just let it run. And the three of us kind of dealt with that a couple times, like with the Radgas scenes or the Indika Cushbottom scenes. But like there was never a point where it was like, okay, if we have to stop, we have to stop and then like stop the camera. And so we'd go, but like there was never like a definitive cue for the beat for like Amber to come into frame or me to do something. So we'd have to like really low key, like nod, and like that was the cue to go in. But what ended up happening, I noticed when I was editing, was there's a lot of times where it's like almost awkwardly long, and it was hilarious to me every time, because it's like, especially because it's supposed to be this moment of like, oh, I'm really emotionally vulnerable and stuff, and it's just like there's it's gonna come up later where it's just Amber's just sitting there and I'm just like yeah, oh god, and I kept like in my head, I'm like, okay, anytime Amber, like anytime you want to come in with your line, and he just kept going. And so I like left half of it in because you're just sitting there like this. And I'm like, it's great, like things like that where I sit down for like awkwardly long and you like come over as if it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go console this guy.
Also, this is not relevant to the, I guess, video, but I don't know where those pants are that I'm wearing.
I don't know.
I'm just like, uh-oh.
Well, I'm glad, maybe that's a new mystery we can solve.
Yeah. Lost to the desert.
I'm just glad.
Takes.
The desert takes. The lament about it to the desert. I have the perfect theme music for you.
Friend today.
Did you kill him?
No. But why would I kill he was my best friend. No, he told me I didn't deserve to be a wizard. And he smashed my staff. So that's why I don't have a staff anymore.
Sorry.
And then you killed him?
No, I didn't kill him. Why would I kill? What?
Oh, sorry. But that does make it. A lot of the things that we didn't have when we filmed is what propelled some of the plot points in the other episodes. Like the staff, right? Like we didn't have a staff. And I remember we were all going back and forth about this of like, how do we wrangle the staff situation? Because while like, yeah, like Amber and I could have wandered around and found like a big stick, how are we going to get it home from Utah on a plane? So it's like a whole issue there. But then it was like the reverse issue of like, how do I bring something here to Utah in like limited storage space and stuff? So that's why we were like, oh, we could break the staff and it's gone. But then...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the robe was also another one. It was like Amazon just didn't ship it yet. So that's why I take it off in episode 3.
You could have pulled a Gandalf, though. Would you rob a poor man of a stick or old
Oh, his
man?
walking stick?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
I could have been like, oh, would you rob a poor man of his walking stick? And you'd be like, you don't have a walking stick. Damn. So much. If we ever do this with real money.
And more time.
Yeah, like at least like 2 more days.
Would you?
Yeah, I done it already.
You killed your best friend?
Yeah. He thought he found the One Ring, but I kept telling him it was just junk. But he was going on and on about this ring, so I did him in.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have that. A hobbit's got it.
Wait, a hobbit?
Yeah. His uncle found it about 60 years ago. Gave it to him on his own birthday for some reason, and then left. I don't know why.
What's a hobbit gonna do with the ring?
He'll destroy it, I hope.
All I know about hobbits is their feet.
Yeah, it is a bit odd, isn't it? I mean, they don't wear shoes. And I wouldn't call them a wholly heroic people. It just seems weird to give them the ring.
Yeah, so thanks for letting me know about that. That's been weighing down on me a lot. I was worried that I left the One Ring with his gutted body.
No problem.
Yeah,
Happy
this
to
right
help.
here. It took you so long to react.
But I'm sorry about your friend.
I'm also sorry about yours.
Thanks.
I can't imagine killing my friend. Just... But... maybe he's right. You know? Maybe I don't deserve to be a wizard. And so he was right to smash my staff.
How do you mean? You ain't really a wizard.
I am a wizard.
You ain't got no
I'm so
staff.
proud of the
I
eyes in
am
this.
a wizard.
You ain't got no hat.
Those are perfect.
I
Just don't know
just
if I deserve
love
to be one.
that and this is me tooting my own horn, because I was like, oh, this will be so fucking funny because I blink. If when I blink, the whole thing like goes away and comes back with the eyes. So I sat there for like 30 minutes, frame by frame, trying to key when things would go in and then come back. Be like with my eyes like closing and opening. And it came out very nice, and I'm very happy with it.
Didn't think you had a choice, really.
You don't.
So then what's the problem then?
I was given a mission to help the Hobbit and his fellowship destroy the One Ring, and I could have cared less. I balked at it. Marina Tar always went on about how we need to follow the mission, we need to stick with it,
Sorry,
it's right
but
by the
I
Valar and by
fucked
Middle
up,
Earth,
man.
and I
Fucked up. bad.
Goddamn right.
just made muffins and wanted to talk to folks and listen to that brown bastard who I am convinced was leading us the wrong way. Now, at least, I think. Maybe. I failed my mission. That's why I don't deserve to be a wizard.
You know, I was given a job once. I was tasked with getting goods from Bree, but, you know, here I am, just stealing stuff from folks like you.
What's your point?
So what I'm saying is that no one has a mission. You know, each of us get here some way or another, but at the end of the day, Valar, Iluvatar, they don't get to decide what we do. It's up to us to decide what to do with the time that we're given.
That nice Gandalf line drop.
By Iluvatar. You have a point. You might just be onto something. Maybe my mission wasn't just to destroy the ring, but maybe it was to be a friend to a Marinatar the entire time.
Pretty much. But, you know, that mission of yours sounds a lot better than wandering the desert.
That'll do it.
I need to get back to my friend. Thank you. You've honestly been a great help. By the way, would you like a...
I had to pause that. That was too good. I love that gag. Like, just the punch to black.
Yeah.
I will say, that, like, music in the background, in the original rough cut, it was actually, like, I think it was, like, the music that's, like, behind, I think, Gladriel narrating the intro to the Fellowship or something like that.
Oh.
And that is tied with the I Monster song for the intro of songs I wish I could have kept in it without having to get rid of it, because I think I tried to upload the version that didn't have that music behind it, and YouTube was like, no, WB's gonna be pissed. And I was like, okay, fine. But yeah, that one, because it was cool because it was timed, guys, it was timed perfectly. Like, it went like right where I'm like, by Iluvatar, you're right. Like, the song started to change into like the dun 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 like kind of thing, and I was like, this is wild. Like, from all I had to do was put it in, and it just fit the video without me having to edit anything. And I was like, this is like destiny. And then YouTube was like, no, fuck you.
Of course.
Yeah, Pete wasn't smiling on us that day. It's kind of sad. I also wish I wore, like, not branded socks in this next episode. Oh, tell me if you guys... Tell me after it's over. Tell me, Amber, if you remember when I told you, don't say it. But if you don't, you get a guess too. Tell me what this music is from after the scene's done.
Okay.
Dear Romestamo the Blue, apologies for the clonk on the head. I figured it best to leave you on a high note and didn't want to ruin the day for you. Thanks for telling me about the Hobbit and the One Ring. Real load off my chest with that. I hope you don't mind too much, but didn't sit right with me having this whole exchange and not stealing anything from you. However, you weren't lying when you said you didn't have any coin. What kind of so-called wizard has no staff, no hat, and a bag full of muffins? Well, I digress. I took your shoes, as you have probably realized. Can't say I'm more thrilled than you. They're not the nicest boots in the world. Bit of a disappointment, really. At the very least, I hope this reminds you of your mission, to help your friend in his mission to help the Hobbit. Seeing as the Hobbits ain't got shoes, and now you don't. You probably get it. Best of luck on your journey of self-discovery. The Boot Bandit.
Well, at least he was nice enough to leave a note.
Any guesses?
Is it American Beauty or something like that?
No, definitely not. Amber, do you remember, or do you?
I remember the conversation, but not the movie.
So, and in this, I took inspiration from Team 4-Star. It's from Scrubs. It's like at the end of a ton of episodes when they do like the emotional bow on it, that's what they play in the background. It's like this little piano jingle, and I was like, well, if we're tying a bow on it, I'm putting the Scrubs song in the show. Also, you can tell it is clearly a CVS receipt that was about to run out of.
Wow, that's some weird writing there.
Yeah, it's strange. I read it horizontally, but it appears to be written vertically.
The way that Tolkien would have written.
Exactly. Japanese. We threw it away, by the way. I didn't leave it there.
No, Larry.
But he's got a point. I thought I made more of you.
Also, not the same kind of muffins.
True.
So do you remember why I was so hell-bent on getting a banana nut muffin? Because we, like, went to gas stations to find one on the way to Arches. Like,
I don't know.
I wish I could remember, but I remember having a very clear thought in my head of like, no, it needs to be a banana nut muffin.
Is it just that you thought like Costco would have it?
No, because like when we went, so I was like, we're only going to buy one. Which in the end, it's good we did the blueberry. The blueberry makes more sense. I'm kind of sitting here kicking my past self, like, why on earth did you think the banana nut muffin? What the hell's wrong with you? But there was something about it where I was like, I really want to get a banana nut muffin. And maybe I just really wanted a banana nut muffin because I was going to eat it anyway. But I remember being in the gas station and being like, oh, fuck, they only have, like, coffee cake muffin flavor. And I was just like, oh no. And then I found one and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I have no idea why we were so hell-bent. I was so hell-bent on it. But yeah, it's a banana nut muffin in this scene, and it wasn't very good. Our blueberry muffins were much better than this muffin.
Oh no.
Let's go save my friend.
From what? Also, walking in sand with no shoes was miserable.
Ooh, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was hard and hot.
What on earth was that?
Oh, it's Middle Earth, actually.
Ooh. I wonder what happens.
This was like a last minute song choice too. I think I'm pretty sure this was the one where I was just on YouTube or something, like looking for a sound effect or something like that. And I was like, oh man, like we were originally going to put Blue Suede Shoes by Elvis, and it just didn't fit. And I had already asked Mr. Link there if we could use not Blue Monday, I'm Blue for episode 3. And so I like really quickly emailed him. I was like, hey, is it okay if I use this song too? Because I found that he had pumped up kicks, and I was like, oh shit, this is perfect, it goes with the shoes. But yeah, so that's episode 4. That was a fun one. I mean, there's a lot of little gags in there that are like, I feel like we created it backwards. Some of the things, like the staff, and then other little gags where it's just like, we set them up in the middle because of the way we filmed them, and we were like, okay, we got to make sure that in the beginning we do such and such, or this has to happen before that. I do like how we ended this one. I like how we do, and we'll see it again, I guess, in episode 5, but like the little crossover ending kind of thing from like the different perspectives. Mm-hmm. But what about you guys? Especially Nate, because this is only like 66.66666% as good as all the other episodes.
Oh no, I thought it was really good. I think it like set up a lot of good points for the rest of the series.
Yeah. Amber, what about you? You got to do all kinds of stuff in this one. This is like your
I gotta
fifth
say,
character?
Boot Bandit is like my favorite character.
Oh, yeah?
Well, obviously, Radagast is at the top.
Whoa.
For sure. But I think after that it has to be Boot Bandit. Cause
I'm thinking episode 6 is going to have an Amber ranking. We have to rank Amber's. Who is our favorite Amber character at the end of this? Because there's like a 1.5 more
that's true.
to go.
I have to do like a choose your fighter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Super Smash Brothers music. Yeah.
Choose your character.
But yeah, overall, I really liked it. And I loved how it had that emotional bit, like towards the end, or you're just kind of like, it was just about being like a friend to Marina Tar. And I'm just like, but like it still had that like seriousness to it at that like time. And then everything else was kind of just like, it was like really fun to just like watch.
Yeah. So Nate, do you remember going back and forth about how this show would have ended much differently, where Amber, we were going to make that like a thing, that Amber really was every other character and it was just us?
Right. Yeah.
Because there was that shot at the end of this where she's like behind the bush and she's like one down, one to go. 'Cause she like pulls her hood off and somehow that's a reveal that you're actually Vire. And like, there you go.
Let's go save my friend.
One down, one to go.
But yeah, like that, I remember thinking like, oh, that's cool. But the problem I had with it was that it cut funny. Like the music, that's the other reason I wanted to keep that. That Lord of the Rings music even went into that. Like where I cut it, it like had this weird key change where everything became like, da-da, and it was like right when I changed the bush and it pans over to Amber hiding behind it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I'm personally very glad that we went with the more meta end of it, of just having Amber play everybody. I feel like it would just been like so much more complicated.
Yeah. It's clever, but I think we made the right choice in not really like fully pursuing that.
I think so too. I think we make up for it like at the end of episode 6, which we'll obviously talk about, like the post-credit scene and all that. If you haven't seen it already, make sure you watch after the credits of episode 6. You can stop when this one's done. But yeah, I think like we kind of make up for it with that. So that has its own fun thrift store adventure stories behind it as well. But I think that's like all the stuff for episode 4. Unless you guys have anything else that's like jumping out at you about that. I'm really excited to watch yours, Nate. I think all of the emotional arc of like this episode, because like to me, whenever I was watching this one, I'm always like, oh my god, it's just talking and talking and talking. Like it's funny, but it's like we're just talking. But it's like all of that, and I feel like maybe at some point we talked about this being like kind of the point of how like there's so much there, and then that one is just like you kind of speed run the emotional like you're just like, oh, that's the problem. It's like, yeah. But yeah, you guys got anything else to shout out about episode 4?
No, just yeah, it was another great episode, and again, we're getting closer and closer to the end.
The end.
Yeah.
The end that's a solid episode. The last episode's a solid episode. But all right, I think that is going to cover it for episode 4. Thank you guys for joining us on this, reliving the behind the scenes and the actual episode itself. You can definitely go back and watch all the episodes straight on our YouTube channel, Tominator Pictures. You can also check out the previous episodes from this commentary series, also on that channel. And then we got 2 more episodes of the covering this stuff. Every other week we're releasing these, so you can expect it not next week, but the week after. So keep your eyes out for that. We'll obviously let you know on our social medias that that's all coming out. So follow us on Instagram or TikTok, assuming it's still legal. Or wherever else you want to follow us. I guess minus Facebook, because we don't have a Facebook and I'm just not making one. It's just, yeah, no thanks. But yeah, go ahead and check us out there for updates and future projects, because we got lots of stuff we're thinking about. And yeah, until then, my name is Thomas.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Nate.
And we're Tominator Pictures. Remember to be blue to yourself, everybody.